Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing very well. Okay, with your health, mind, body, soul, and definitely with your studies. Okay, so welcome again in our next class of your business law. Okay, so last class we have seen the details about your lawful consideration. Okay, and today we'll move to the another valid essential of another essential element of valid contract. Okay, and today's topic is your capacity of parties. I hope you remember when I have discussed just for 2 marks what are the valid essentials. Okay, or what are the essential elements for your valid contract. We had a 1 point as a capacity of parties. Okay, so today we'll discuss details about this point only. Okay, so capacity of parties, which is definitely important element. Fine. And when we say that capacity to contract, it means a party has the legal ability. Okay, a party has a legal ability to enter into a contract. Okay, or even as per the law, when we say capacity, it means a person has to be competent as defined by law. Okay, so let's see when they are competent or when they are incompetent. Okay, here I have just make a slide about your definition, that is as per the section 11 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. Fine. When we say the competency of parties, that means every person is competent to contract. Okay, every person is competent to contract who is of the age of majority according to the law to which he is subject, and who is of sound mind and is not disqualified from contracting by any law to which he is subject. So I hope you can see here 3 things I have highlighted: age of majority, sound mind, not disqualified from contracting by any law. Okay, so we can sum up here what we have: a 3 main aspect in relation to your capacity of parties. Every person is competent to contract. That means anybody can enter into a valid contract, but conditions are what? Person who is of the age of majority, that means 18 plus. Then next, who is of sound mind. Okay, that means he is in a position to understand what is good or what is bad for him or her. And then the next condition is who is not disqualified from making a contract by law. Okay, kindly add in your notes, by law. Fine. So who are not who is not having a restriction from the law that you can't enter into a contract. Okay, so if legally no problem, you can enter into a contract. Fine. And the another thing, 3 things what we have to keep remember, just the opposite one. See, this was about person is competent, and now this is about person are not competent to contract. So just opposite of that. Okay, what we have seen now, just opposite of that. Incompetent means, or not competent, a person who is a minor, okay, below 18, a person of unsound mind, okay, medically not sound mind, okay, or who is not able to decide what is good or what is bad for him or her. Okay, and another condition is a person who is disqualified from making a contract by law. Okay, so always keep remember these 3 conditions. Okay, if you are going to enter into any contract with any one of this person, it will mention as a, or it will treated as a void contract. Even I have written here also, contract enter into by the persons mentioned above are void contract. You can't enforce those contracts into the court. Okay, so now one by one in details we have to check. Okay, first we had attaining the age of majority. What we have seen, any person who is of major age competent to contract, any person who is age of minor incompetent to contract. Okay, so here what, according to the Indian Majority Act 1875, the age of majority in India is defined as 18 years. I hope it is not new for you. It is definitely you know very well, 18 plus major. Okay, and this is for the purpose of entering into a contract. Okay, now we have to keep remember some points related to the agreements if we are going to do the agreements with the minor. Okay, very first thing is a contract made with a minor is void. That means you can't enforce it by law. Okay, and a contract made with the minor is void from the beginning itself. Okay, the moment you have made the contract with a minor person, okay, from the beginning itself it is going to be a void one. Even if just suppose there is a one more days, okay, one more day left to attain the 18 year, then also it is going to be a void contract. Only after attaining your 18 years you can start going for start entering into a valid contracts. Okay, now the next point is a minor can be a beneficiary of a contract. So I hope you remember your PUC or your become first year partnership. Okay, where somewhere we have studied that a minor can be a beneficiary. Okay, a minor can be a beneficiary. That means like a minor cannot become a partner in the partnership firm, but the benefits of the firm can be extended to him. So whenever it is for the benefit of a minor, minor can be a party into a contract, but only the benefits, no liabilities at all. Okay, then the next point, contract by guardian. So that is on behalf of a minor, okay, his guardian or his parents can enter into a contract, valid contract, fine, and it is like enforced by the minor also. Okay, then and here one thing keep remember, okay, if a contract is entered by a guardian on behalf of minor, then it cannot be a contract for buying immovable property. Okay, now the next, a minor cannot be declared insolvent. See, when we are saying that minor is not at all the owner of anything, owner of any property, then definitely you can't declare him or her as a insolvent and he can't have any debts. Okay, if at all any dues are pending from the property of minor, then also personally he is not liable for the same. Okay, next point, joint contract by a minor and an adult. So if in any joint contract case, okay, where in case there is a party, okay, where one side an adult and a minor is there, okay, or executed by the guardian on behalf of minor, the liability of the contracts will always fall on the adult only. Okay, you can't enforce the minor for performance of any obligations. Clear? Then the next we have no ratification. Okay, you can't make it correct. Okay, so just suppose when you were at the age of 17 years and 9 months, okay, 18 years not completed, and you enter into a contract, and after 3 months you are going to attain your 18 age, that is major, and after that you want to ratify the agreement which you have made during your minority age, fine, so this is not allowed. Okay, this is not acceptable by the law. You can't go for any ratification. Clear? Now the next, the rule of estoppel does not apply to a minor. That means minor cannot go for a acknowledgement. Okay, even though at your minor age you have taken some 1,000 rupees from someone, okay, and saying that when I'll be my 18 years, 19 years, I will repay you. And if you're not going to repay that money, don't worry, the another party can't enforce you or can't drag you to the court. Clear? Now, these all are the small points which you have to keep remember when you are going to enter into an agreement with a minor or as a minor. Now the next point, remember 3 aspects, 3 main points under your capacity of party, minor and major. So just now we have covered that, and now the next is your sound mind and unsound mind. Okay, so again here we have a definition according to section 12 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. For the purpose of entering into a contract, a person is said to be of sound mind if he is capable of understanding the contract and being able to assess its effect upon his interest. So sorry, in a very simple terms, in starting I told you, when any person is able to understand, okay, that what is good and what is bad for him, he's in the sound mind position. And if he's not able to make out what is going to happen or what he is doing that is good or bad for him, then he is called as a unsound mind. Okay, now whenever unsound mind person an agreement comes, then again some points we have to keep remember. Fine. So here the point to keep remember, very first point is a person who is usually of an unsound mind but occasionally of a sound mind can enter a contract when he is of sound mind. Okay, so we got unsound, sound. Fine. So I just believe that everybody know about the Ghajini movie and the character of the main lead role, okay, who was Ghajini. It's definitely this movie is available in different languages, and I'm nowhere at this point, nowhere I'm telling that you should watch that movie. Okay, I'm just taking as an example, okay, because in that movie also the main lead character was the same, who used to forget each and everything about his surrounding and everything. And then again for suddenly 10 minutes or 15 minutes he used to become a sound mind, okay, correct person, that he was able to know, okay, who is this person who is standing in front of me and what I am doing. Okay, so what I'm trying to say, when a person is, just suppose in a whole day, any person out of 12 hours 10 hours, okay, usually of an unsound mind, but for 2 hours, I don't know for which 2 hours, okay, for 2 hours occasionally he or she becomes sound mind. So within that 2 hours that person can enter into a contract, because that time that person is in a position of sound mind, able to make his interest perfectly, or able to understand his interest perfectly. So that time that person can enter into a contract. Okay, next point is a contract made by a person of an unsound mind is void. So very simple point. Okay, a contract made by a person of an unsound mind is void. A contract made by a minor person also void. Just now we have seen. Okay, then the next point to keep remember, a contract by drunken person is also void. So if anybody had too much of alcohol in the last night party and now the hangover still not over, okay, still it's like your head is roaming here and there, I don't know where, okay, just simple I'm saying, you are not in a position to stand properly, you are not in a position to think that what you are talking or what you are listening, what you are doing, that means you are fully in the effect of alcohol. So that time also, if anybody is going to sign the contract with him, or if he is going to sign the contract with anybody, that contract will be void. Okay, now coming to your third point, that is person disqualified by law. Okay, so what disqualified? Okay, you are disqualified by, no, sorry, not to say class or college, these all doesn't look nice. Okay, coming to this point only. Okay, so disqualification, that is incompetency to contract, may arise from political status, corporate status, legal status, or something else. Okay, now just to check out what and all include in this. So very first thing is alien enemy. Now don't go in your so-called movie, I don't know the movie name actually, Hrithik Roshan movie where alien used to come. Okay, so I'm not talking about that alien here. Okay, here the alien is better to read. An alien is a person who is the citizen of a foreign country. Okay, so for you, alien is who is staying in a Pakistan, China, Bangladesh. Okay, not in India, staying in a different country. Okay, citizen. Okay, if an Indian is staying there, I'm not talking about that person. Okay, who is a citizen of foreign country. And as you know very well, my favorite countries are Pakistan and China. Okay, so if we are going to sign any contract with those countries' citizen, so all those parties will be known as a alien. Now here one more thing to keep in your mind or make note in your notebook. You can have a both. You can have an alien friend also, and you can have an alien enemy also. Okay, when everything is going perfect between the two countries, okay, that is your country and your other party country, if everything going perfectly, political, legally, each and everything, the relationships are moving perfectly between those two countries, that time those people will be, that time your citizen of Pakistan will be your alien friend. Okay, but when war is going on between that country, okay, from where your another party resides, and the India, then that party will turn as your alien enemy. Fine. Now two situations arise. One, contracts during the war. Okay, so war is going on, and if you're thinking that you're going to sign a contract with some citizen who is from Pakistan, please don't do that. It will be never accepted. It will be a void contract. Okay, it never going to be a valid contract. Another is if the contract made before the war. Okay, so it is like situation when you have made the contract with the citizen of Pakistan, that time there was no war, everything was perfect, and suddenly now war has started, and you can say the contract haven't got completed. Okay, the obligations and responsibilities from the each other party still not got completed. So in that situation, what to do? So in that situation, you can, okay, wait till the war is not going to over. Okay, that means you can simply suspend the contract, or the another is you are going to dissolve the contract. Fine. Now the next point, convicts. Okay, so a convict is not competent to contract. So till the time, in a simple language, till the time any person is enjoying very nicely government food and government service in a jail, that person cannot enter into a valid contract. Clear? Now the next, insolvent. So when a person is insolvent, definitely he is no more he is having a possession of his any of the property or anything. So that time definitely he can't enter into any contract in relation to his any of the properties. Okay, and then the next we have body corporate. So very well we have studied, I don't know if I'm not wrong, we have studied in PUC only in your business studies, a company is an artificial person. Okay, so like a company can enter into a contract only through its agent or representatives. Okay, and the capacity of a company to enter into a contract is determined by its memorandum and article of association. Each and everything will be given details, so kindly don't go beyond those capacities. If you're going beyond those capacities which are not mentioned in your, or which is not determined by your memorandum and article of association, then it will become a void contract. Okay, so these are all about your capacity of parties. So who are capable and who are not capable. So all are capable except the three things. The person should not be a minor, the person should not be a unsound mind, and the person should not be declared as a disqualified from the law. Remaining all are competent to enter into a valid contract. So enjoy learning. Have a nice day. Thank you.